In this week's Connecticut in Color, we are highlighting an entrepreneur who went from owning a nightclub to starting his own tech company and now is the owner of a professional soccer team in Connecticut. Meet Andrẻ Swanston. Being the first isn't something new for Andrẻ Swanston.
Being one of the youngest and the only black is kind of what I've done in pretty much everything for 20 years straight.
Swanston was born in the Bronx.
The Bronx is I think, something I'm very proud to have been born and raised in and kind of always a part of me.
When he was 15 years old, he moved to Connecticut to attend Hotchkiss School. He later attended UConn, where he was a Division I track athlete.
UConn was one of the powerhouses in track in the Big East and one of the best in the Northeast. Also a great academic school. While at UConn and in his fraternity, Swanston remembers getting the entrepreneurial bug. One of the things that I did for the fraternities, I coordinate all the fundraising events, many of which were parties, big parties with, over 1,000 people.
Swanston took the skills he learned, and with his wife Michelle, they opened up 2 restaurants and one of New England's largest nightclubs, all by their mid-20s. What was that like, being 24 with your wife, owning a nightclub and 2 restaurants? What were you guys thinking? How were you guys handling that?
No sleep. We also had full-time jobs at the time.
Oh my goodness!
It was ridiculous. So and Michelle was in grad school too. It was looking back at it was ridiculous. How about that?
The business owner eventually moved on to private wealth management at J.P. Morgan Chase and was one of the youngest vice presidents. But he kept dreaming of something more.
I remember going back and telling Michelle we had, I think, a 2.5-year-old and a newborn. I was like, I'm quitting my job and I'm starting a tech startup. So that was an interesting conversation.
At 31, Swanston invested a great deal of his own money and co-founded Tru Optik, a data company for streaming media advertising, which was later acquired by TransUnion for over $100 million.
As you're building that tech company and you're doing those all-nighters and you're dealing with the stress, you just have to gravitate to things that can help motivate you.
His motivation was to one day own a sports team.
And the reason for soccer, even though I wasn't a soccer player, is just a big soccer fan.
Swanston is now the president of Connecticut Sports Group, which owns Connecticut United FC. In January, it was announced as the newest team to join MLS Next Pro, a professional men's soccer league that operates under Major League Soccer. The team will play in a brand new stadium in Bridgeport by 2025.
More than 70% of the population in the state of Connecticut can get to Bridgeport either by the highway or by public transportation in about an hour or so. And so that makes it really accessible.
They also want to make the stadium accessible to kids.
So we will have the only free youth academy in the state of Connecticut, which is really exciting.
Swanston is breaking barriers as one of only a few black principal owners in U.S. sports history. Swanston's advice to anyone chasing a dream is to rush patiently.
Just start now. Not tomorrow, today, start, but know that it could take years, for anything. Nothing worth anything happens overnight.
And it's all about getting started. Again, the goal is to open the stadium by the summer of 2025, so a lot to look forward to for Swanston. That's this week's Connecticut in Color. I'm Briseida Landaverde.